Yes, yeah, that one.
There we go. All right, testing, testing.
Yes, yeah, that one.
1, 2, 3, testing.
Say
Okay.
say your ABCs from A to Z.
A,
Just so I can hold on, I'm gonna here try to see if I can hear.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U,
Okay,
V.
perfect,
Is it
perfect. You don't
working?
have to go all the way down. Yeah, because
All
it,
right, sweet.
it it came out right away.
Awesome. Better than last time.
Yeah, testing, testing. Yeah. All
All
right,
right,
sweet.
all right, take us away.
All right, give me 1 second, and then we'll start it off talking about the reveal. Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. The game keeps locking up on me. Is it doing that to you?
The game. It
Wonder if I have to
probably.
uninstall it.
You know what they probably should have done to give it more attention in the reveal? They should have like done like a maintenance server
Oh my
type of
God.
thing and be like, yeah, we're fixing the server, but in the meantime, watch the reveal. That probably would have been epic.
They never fix some of
That
this
probably
stuff.
would have been. Yeah, which they said they're gonna. We'll talk about that later, but they did say about they're gonna have another maintenance, and we'll talk later about how we feel about the main
Yeah,
fucking maintenance servers.
maintenance.
Yeah,
Have you
so
have you
so
ever watched the Gold Rush where they have the big things that shake the dirt? There's like a belt. They dump the dirt in this hopper at the top and then it goes down a belt and it shakes the gold loose from the dirt.
yeah,
So when it breaks, they just like put a patch on it. They just like staple a piece of a tire to cover the hole or something. That's what ESO maintenance is like. They're just like, eh.
that's hilarious. Yeah, so I'm sitting down here in my house. I'm just gonna sit here, because I get distracted when I talk. I'm sitting at my little table here. Yeah. Oh yeah. So the SO reveal. A few minutes ago, we were in
It's
the
a
SO reveal.
reveal.
Lots to talk about, or maybe less to talk about, but we'll get it going. So the first thing that the SO reveal, and I did put out some notes. Like, all right, they did mention 24 million players around the world.
Yeah, the
I
game
did
has
kind of want to
definitely
mention.
grown. The player base has definitely grown.
Yeah. Now the reason I mentioned that is because there are a lot of people that believe that there's you always hear every day, oh, not enough people in the server, not enough people. But what I wanted to mention is that there's actually a lot of servers. And a perfect example is the other
Yeah, I
night with
think
the
some people don't
trials.
understand that.
Yeah. Like so yesterday I was in VAS and this happens, I mean the game has its issues where um you go into a trial, let's say VAS, and half of your team is in one VAS server and the other one's in the other, and you're like, wait a minute, it's because you're in different zones of the trial. And the reason they have that, which they shouldn't do that, but it's because there is a lot of people. Or it has grown a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if
It's any online game has like it's always been like that. I think that people just don't know that. So when they talk about dedicated servers, that's a server that's dedicated. Like okay, like for instance, if you go play Black Desert, you have to join a server or Ark. If you've ever played Ark, you have to join a server, and your game is on that server. The next time you load in, most of the time, I think most games put you back on the same server, but sometimes you have to join another server. So what it is that you can't have 1,000 people, logging into one server because it'll just overload the info. There's too much information for it to keep up with. So it has to
yeah.
separate. So yeah, ESO has multiple servers. That's why people get upset that you don't have dedicated servers because it's just kind of like it works it works better if you have dedicated servers that are servers dedicated to this game because what it is a lot of it is just like a cell phone tower piggybacks off of a satellite and or you know how that works it's just like the signal just pings like a pinball you know And that's
Yeah.
why a lot of people have connection issues. If you have a dedicated server that is only used for that game, then your connection is going to be much better. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
understanding
definitely.
anyway.
Yeah, it's about right, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Even when you're queuing for dungeons, and this is where it's broken. I mean, obviously, sometimes there's more of a crowd one day than the other because people, especially someone who's overseas, so there are high times and up times. But a lot of times, and this is where the system's broken, where you're queuing up for a dungeon, there's so many people on because you just see it, and you just can't queue up because the queue is broken, and that's just issues from the game itself.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
the queuing in this game for a dungeon is
Oh yeah.
it's bad. I
And as
can
far as 20 million players, is there 24 million players? I mean, they have a lot. It could be more, it could be less. It's an estimation. Like every game, they have an estimation. There's nothing such so accurate.
You're right.
So someone be like, no, there's a little bit less. No, there's a little bit higher. It's
There's a
just
lot. There's a
estimations.
lot
It's
of
an
people playing
idea.
these. So
Yeah, yeah, we do know it's quite a few million. Yeah. Then the next thing is that I wanted to mention. All right, so June 2015 was the X when it first came out on Xbox and console. April 2014 wasn't came out in PC. Um, yeah, the game has come a long way for good or bad. How your experience playing the game? How do you feel? Do you feel the game has gotten better, worse?
I feel the
How you
game
feel
has
about it?
gotten better. I bought it when it first dropped on console, and it was a hot mess. It was just rubber banding, like it was just terrible. The graphics were bad. The gameplay was choppy. It was just, it was meant to be a MMO, but it felt like a bad indie game. It was just very, very bad. Uh, um, Me and some friends played it for. I don't think anybody even played it for a week, and they just shit canned it. And then I played it for about a week, maybe two, and then I was like, "Yeah, this game sucks." Not very disappointed. So I came back when Elsewhere came out. I've been playing it ever since, and the game has gotten much, much better as far as gameplay and graphics, accessibility, and that type of thing.
Oh yeah, I have to agree. I kind of had a similar situation where year one I tried it, um, just couldn't get into it. I mean, it was very overwhelming. It's a lot better now, but it took me about 6 months later where I was like, let me give this a real try, and then ever since I've been hooked.
Yeah.
Um, the reveal. So going back
Oh
on the
boy.
reveal. So yeah, it's rough, but all right. So the first thing they mentioned was the Gold Road, which is the zone, or I might be wrong. I think it's called West something, West Weld, or
Westworld is like, uh,
one is the
I'm not sure
zone, and
which
I know
one the
the other
zone.
one's the
Yeah,
over.
Gold Road
Yeah,
is like Somerset or Elsewhere. It's yeah, it's the chapter, and then yeah, I think you're right. Westworld is the zone.
yeah. So because I feel that reveal did not give much information. It was more rather just like kind of trying to surprise everyone. But from the little information they gave us on the Gold Road, how do you felt about it? What you thought about it when they
I
mentioned
am very
about the Gold Road?
disappointed with what they revealed. It feels like they just were out of ideas and they just took this part from this part of the world and this from this part of the world and just dumped everything in a pot. Let's just mix everything together and pretend it's something new. That's what it looked
I
like to me.
see.
It was just like blah. Like,
I
come on.
think
The only thing
yeah.
that was cool about it is that it had the city, I forgot, Skingrad. So Skingrad is part of the ESO lore, and it is in several of the other Elder Scrolls games. In Oblivion, it was a big part of Oblivion, and I don't know if you ever played that one, but so that was cool that that's in there. But the rest of it just looked like a melting pot of fluff to me. Just blah.
It,
It's like this is all
I, s-
already in the game. Like what? It's just nonsense. Yeah.
I see. Piggybacking what you were mentioning, um, As an end gamer, it's hard to sometimes criticize, the overland or the content. But what I will say is, when I looked at the review of the Gold Road, I was like, okay, something interesting. They're gonna show something, but in all honesty, they did not show
Mm-mm.
anything
No.
of the gameplay. It was just literally, and I can't even call it cinematics scenes because it was not no theatric scenes. It was more like talking and then just showing the background, but background kind of like background air, just motions, but it wasn't the real gameplay. So I was like, okay, and then later on they were like, oh, it's gonna be a surprise. So that I did not. I
Yeah,
found it pretty
that's
cheesy.
yeah.
Was not surprising. It just felt like repetitive, regular. But we'll see. Um, so as far as the zone overland, I mean, we'll see what they do. Now the next thing is scrying, because this is where I
Oh
got a little
God.
confused. This is where I exactly got. I was like, when they said scrying, I was like, wait a minute, we have that already. So what the hell they're talking about? But then comes to
It
find
wasn't
out
scrying,
that
it's scribing. Yeah.
yeah, scriving, yes. And then another thing too. So this is interesting. There was a lot of rumors. It wasn't. There was no fact to this, but there were a lot of people were talking about spell crafting. Even a lot of content creators. To me, we can see spellcrafting is obviously not
So
going to happen,
I thought it
but
was
I
going to
think
be
that's
something completely different. I'm very disappointed by what it actually is. I thought it was going to be what they showed, but I thought that was going to pertain to the skills already on your class, that you were going to be able to change them to tailor make your build. But it's a very generic, just you've seen what it was.
oh yes,
So
and
I'm
and the funny
disappointed in that.
so in my opinion, and I could be totally wrong, um, what I think is I think spellcrafting is just not happening. I think what they made spellcrafting, what they call it scribing, was actually what they were supposed to make spellcrafting. So I think
Right.
they watered it down and they
Yes.
and they
Yes.
changed the name from spellcrafting to scribing. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was a
Yeah.
bit like, what? Wait a minute,
They dropped the
Um,
ball. They really dropped the ball because they could have uh, taken what they started in Necrom, which was very good. You know, they added the Endless Archive and they added the Arcanist, which was two new things to the game. It was what they need to do to pump lifeblood into this game. They need to keep adding new things so it doesn't become stale. But instead, they did a 90-degree turn and just put something like the card game, just something blah. It is, here you go. Like, what is this? Like, yeah. So
yeah.
just could have done a
Now
lot more
later
with
on,
that.
yeah, later on the review, because at first I felt the same way you were thinking. Then later on the review, they show like an I think it was a dark elf or Khajiit. I don't remember too well. I have to go back to the video, but they showed a character in a inside a
Doing
delve.
the little kick flip, the bow thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. If you can, if you have different skills you can use, so kind of like if instead of me doing a roll dodge, maybe something like that, or so I think it's interesting. The thing is, in all honesty, I don't think they really have that set up the way they mention it. I think they kind of gave us a little preview, but they're still working at it. So I don't really know if it's gonna be good or not. It's just very, it's hard to tell.
It would have
I think it
if
was
they
just,
could have done what they did and done it to the skills on your so like you could take a fate carver and change it to change the effects of it. You know what I mean? They could have done that. That would have been very impressive and very exciting. Instead, it's just a generic cookie cutter mold. It's the same for every. Oh, you go get this book and you can change, the effects of what this skill does. Basically, they gave everybody some generic skills. Like the one they showed is the bow flip thing. Um, and you can just kind of change what it does to that. That is very disappointing from what I thought I thought it was going to be you were going to be able to do that to your class skills. That would have been very cool. That would have been more like spellcrafting, right? If
So I
that makes
believe you
sense.
can. So I believe in every class you have you can you got to do the story. I believe, and from what my understanding, like I said, no one really knows exactly until this stuff comes out. So we could all be right or wrong, but they mention about so like even when they made the example of the little arrow thing touching the floor, which I thought
Hmm.
was a bit cheesy, but I'm like okay, but they said they had other skills that you can use as well as you explore them. So I found it interesting, but my thing is I'm skeptical because I don't know, you know, they didn't give much information about it. It was more like a teaser to be like, "Oh, this is what we got, but we're not telling you. You're going to have to wait and find out coming soon to theaters near
Yeah.
you." Yeah, so I was like, I don't think they know what I think they're still working on
They're
that,
just trying to
you
shine
know.
people on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um
I kind of tuned out after this the scribing thing, to be honest, because I was looking for something new. And at the zone, not impressed. It's just fluff. It's not new. It's just they kind of just poured everything that's already in the game into a melting pot and called it something new.
yeah.
So
I
I
mean, I think
was like,
for
well, maybe this the scribing thing is going to be it. They would have been better served to do something that people actually wanted, like another weapon skill line. Like, hell, I don't care. Put spears in the game. I don't care. Or a wand for the mages, or do another class. Something that people want, not the scribing thing. Is just nah. Just you know.
yeah. Yeah, I think for a new player playing the first time this game, I think they will absolutely love it.
Sure.
But for someone who's been years, it feels like the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
and that's why,
Yeah.
and that's what I think we feel the way we feel. For
That's
anyone
the
who's listening
impression
to
I
this,
got from the
yeah,
overall from the reveal was you're not putting anything new.
yeah. Now anyone who's listening to this, understand we want the best for the game. So we're criticizing, but we hope we're wrong, and we hope that anyone listening, even the developers, can make this game better. So that's why we criticize because we want to see the game continue to grow. We don't want
Oh
it to
yeah, of
die.
course.
Yeah. Another thing too. So I pretty much you're probably gonna pretty much feel the same way I feel, but they mentioned about so you play the zone, you play the overland. Now you're doing quests, and you're gonna get to see your characters, fan favorite characters. Yay! Players
Yeah.
can choose how to follow, and you can choose how to follow the Go Road story. So how does it feel that your special favorite fan favorite Khajiit, you're gonna be able to see him again in the game when you're questing on the Go Road?
Yeah. I
What
mean,
do you feel about that?
again, for a newer player that is just getting into the game, it might be exciting, but I could care less about all of the NPCs. I mean, everybody's probably got some that they like a little bit more than others, but I don't. I mean, they're not for end gamers. It's not that exciting. Like,
Yeah. Now this is the one that I now this is a topic that I'm really gonna mention because I keep nagging, I keep complaining about it. That so they decided to make a new zone. Okay, every year we know they're gonna make a new overland. We know they're gonna make a new DLC. We know they're gonna make dungeons. You gotta make dungeons. You gotta make trials. You gotta make delves. All that's understandable. But my problem, and I continue to say it, is that they continue to make more areas and areas. Stop making new zones. It's just not productive. It's not helping the
yeah.
game. Recycle. I mean, how do you feel about that? Like, what's your philosophy towards that?
I agree with it somewhat. They could improve what they've already got in the game. The very beginning of the reveal, I don't know if you heard the guy, but he's like, "We have some of the best storytelling in the genre," and I was like, "Oh my God, that's not even close to true." Like, it's some of the worst storytelling. I mean, the story is just bleh. Now the lore of this game. So, I'll kind of touching on what you were just saying. If they're going to add new zones, it needs to be better than it is. Now, I'm a big fan of the Elder Scrolls lore. So, Elder Scrolls, not ESO, not Elder Scrolls Online, but Elder Scrolls has been out for a long time. And the lore of this game is, kind of a cult following, almost like Lord of the Rings. It's a very expansive, very deep lore. So they really kind of fucked up, for lack of a better term, because they did something with the new Daedric Prince that they're adding that has never been done since Elder Scrolls was invented back in the 90s or the 80s or whatever it was came out. And they changed the lore of the game. They're adding to it. That's pretty pretentious. Like, so I wasn't very happy about that. Um, but yeah, I agree that instead of just adding a bunch of new zones that are pretty much just cookie cutter, they're just all exactly the same thing. Um, they could go back to the zones or the stories that are already out. Even something as simple as this, just put the cinematics in the game and make it part of the story. That's all.
Exactly.
Just do that, and you would have such more an immersive experience. And you have so many more people doing the stories. Just that. It's just so dry and blah. It's just, and the new zones, you're right. They're exactly the same. You're not impressing anyone at this point. Like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Um. Now for the newer players, sure, they'll love that stuff because, but as you get more into it, it becomes outdated and a bit repetitive. Um, then they decided they're gonna do the like every year, the typical stuff: trials, new dungeons, new delves, scry, etc. I mean, that's a must-have regardless because like an end gamer like ourselves, we're gonna need more content. It gets to the
Yeah,
point like, what else can we do? We cleared all the trials, we cleared all the dungeons. Yeah, we definitely gonna need more content. So, I mean, that's that they if they was to say they're not gonna do that anymore, um, that would just be terrible. If anything, I would say stop
that
doing so
would
many
be the end of
zones,
the game for us.
refurbish.
I mean,
Yeah,
because that's
that's
like
when
I
it's
said,
time.
basically that's all I'm really looking forward to from this is the new dungeons and the new trial,
Oh yeah,
which is not
absolutely.
really that much, really. I mean,
Yeah. Now the next thing is they describing, exploring. Obviously you need to purchase the new gold chapter to unlock the system. Okay, we already know how this works. Obviously DLC, new content. You want it, you buy. You don't want it, you don't buy. Now my worry is this: because it looks like they're gonna put their energy there. What's gonna happen to the archive? Are they gonna Would they abandon it? Because that's they gave us the archive. You would think they're gonna continue to progress it
hmm
and make it better and give much more ideas to keep this going. But I don't know. It sounds like they may just quiet it down. I mean, what do you think? I could be totally wrong. I'm just being skeptical here.
um, I mean, I hope that they continue to do stuff to it because besides new classes, the archive is the first thing, since the dragons that they put into the game that is something new. So they, I mean, they didn't hit a home run, but it was a step in the right direction. And I would hate to see them just put it on the shelf because, yeah, it's basically the only new thing that's been in the game for 5 years. So, you know,
And anyone who has just the basic DLC can play, which
yeah,
is for most people,
yeah. So everybody has access to it. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, for most players in the game, that is their end game. Because we
If
always
they're
mention
not part of a
75 to 80
guild
something percent.
or a core group, then yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty good.
So the game comes out June 3rd on PC, June 18th on console. They mentioned about pre-orders, and if you get a pre-order, you guess what you get. You don't just get the pet, the combat. You get the puppy, the wolf puppy as
Ah,
well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so
Yeah,
are you
it's
so are
just,
you so are you gonna
I
pre-order
just,
or are you just gonna wait?
I'll probably wait.
Okay, so yeah, we're talking about the pre-pup, the wolf pup, I believe. um,
So dumb.
yes. I just gotta get a kick out of this. Yeah, as far as pre-order, I mean, if I pre-order, it's not because I'm excited.
It's just
If
because
I
I want
pre-order,
the
it's
content. Yeah, I want it to
yeah,
download early or play
yeah,
it a little bit early. Yeah.
yeah. In my case, it's just because when it comes out, I don't want to worry about having to look for how to pay it or whatever. So I rather so that's why I will pre-order it. But sometimes I don't even pre-order. Sometimes I'll just get it the same day. But yeah, um, which is I'll
Yeah.
probably be a terrible advertisement adder for the Elder Scroll if they were to say, "Hey, I want you to sell our
Exactly.
game." No, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. A few things to mention. So, update 42 is when the DLC, the two new dungeons come out. Um, January 26th is when they're gonna do the first. They're gonna do it live on YouTube and Twitch. Is the first look of the two dungeons. Are you excited for this?
For the new dungeons?
Yeah. So the on January 26th will be the first look. That's where people can watch
Oh,
live how it's gonna look.
not so much as to actually play them. I probably won't watch that. I
I
like I
see.
like to go into the new dungeons cold and figure them out. I mean, you've done most of them
Yeah.
with me. Trials, maybe
Yeah.
not, but dungeons, yeah, I like to do the 4 man just flip cold.
Yeah, the dungeons I probably wouldn't look too much on it. Like I'm the same. I'll just explore once it comes out. It makes it more exciting for me. Now I know this one is definitely gonna make you excited. So update 43. This is your favorite in August. This is when they're gonna do the update maintenance where they're gonna fix bugs and they're gonna do something house related. Your favorite and for many. How do you feel about the maintenance on in August for update 43?
Ah, they never really fix anything with the maintenance. I mean, not things that we want them to fix. So, it's just kind of, are they going to actually fix something or are they going to break stuff? It's like, and it's 50-50 sometimes. It doesn't seem like they ever really fix anything important, like the dungeon queuing or, you know, things that people want to be fixed.
Oh yeah.
Or the game
Then
itself. Like right now, the game is like it just kicked you out. It's been just like freezing up on me, which I don't know if that's on my end or they could fix stuff like that.
I see.
What do you
Yeah.
think about it?
And the, um to me the maintenance server, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I every time I hear the maintenance server, I don't get excited because I feel it gets. I feel when I first log in, it's worse. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I know they got to do these things, they got to fix them, but I mean, I just don't see anything better. For example, here's the thing. It's been years. Have they fixed the Thorn hard mode yet?
Right,
It has a
exactly. That's
glitch.
exactly it.
Yeah, it's important. Like
Yeah, fix
it's
something
not a
like
hard.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I mean, for an experienced player, it's not a hard mode, but you're literally dealing with glitches, which makes it ridiculous. And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, I guess what? I cleared it. Nice for you," but it's just it's ridiculous. You're not even learning a mechanic. They're putting in stuff because it's glitchy, right? So they don't fix that, but they'll go and fix, hey, and this is how ridiculous it is. Oh, guess what? Now you can see the cat in the tree. But guess
Yeah.
what? You can see the cat, but you can't see its tail. And the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
maintenance, this cat's gonna meow, but you still can't see its tail. Um, I guess some people like that, but for me, I don't care about it. I want
Yeah.
important stuff
It's
that they're
kind of
gonna
like they
fix.
say that, oh, we fixed this, but nobody actually cared about what it is that you fix. It's they don't fix the things that people want them to fix. Like the Castle Thorn
Yeah,
hard mode. Like, yeah, fix that. So we can
perfect
actually
example.
complete the
Yeah,
damn hard mode.
yeah. I was trying to remember something, and I was
That's
like,
a
and that
perfect
came
that
up
was a
right
perfect
away.
example because yeah, that's something that's been broken years. It's been broken. At
Yeah.
least a couple
Then
years. Yeah.
comes Oh yeah, then comes update 44. So the new game companions, I have a 50-50 with the new game companions. Yes, they have made quite a few new game companions, but I just feel that it's lackluster at best. They can make 10 new game companions, but it's kind of the same thing as the Overland Zones. Um it becomes blah, becomes very
Yeah, they're
stale. There's
not
nothing. It's like
that
ghost
great.
town. It's like a ghost town. Like you go to a couple overlands, right? Um, it's abandoned. It's abandoned because there's nothing to do. Once you do the quest or
Hmm.
whatever,
Yeah.
they could refurbish them. Same thing with the companions. Like, there's not much to do with them.
No.
It just they gotta
Well,
make it
okay,
more
so
real.
let's put it in perspective. For an end gamer, there's not much. They're not.
Oh yes,
They
good
don't really
point.
help
Good
you as
point.
an end gamer. If they did something useful in the end game, it would be a different story. But they're for overland questing at best. You know, not they're not even
Yeah,
gonna help you in a vet dungeon, in a DLC dungeon.
yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, one time I wanted to get a scry. It was a scry piece that I needed to complete my scry. Um, I believe it's Bone Pirate Tatter's dungeon. I might be saying it wrong. And I went in normal. I went solo, and the companion did help me a little bit, but I feel that they still need a lot of more work to make it, and maybe they'll never be complete for vet content, but at least for solo people, I think they can definitely enhance the companion so much more.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have levels, different levels of them. Like you have normal and vet content. That would make them a little bit more useful, I think, or something like that, right? Is
Yeah.
that what you mean?
Oh yes, yes, indeed.
Because
Then
they're
and
like base game, really. They're not useful for anything.
now this is when they put a maybe for this update 44. They said new game companions, and like I said, they didn't really give much information. A lot of it was just question marks in your head. They were like new game companions, but maybe something for PvP. So I don't know what
Oh,
that means. I don't know. I don't
a
know. I don't know
companion
if
for
they're gonna make a
PvP?
companion for
How are they going
PvP,
to do that?
or 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 if they're gonna enhance something in PvP. Like a lot of it was just what Even the scry. I mean, I know what they mean now, but I'm like, wait a minute. We have a scry system, and then so instead of scry, they call it scribing. Okay, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that you'd be like, okay, end game rewards. Okay, I guess overland sets, dungeon sets, the typical stuff. I mean, um, pre you can pre-purchase right now. Okay, so here's one. They did mention about that now during the festival events, right? People have the chance to try out the for free the any older or newer chapter. How what do you think about that?
That's cool. But if you have ESO Plus, you already get that option anyway. So
Yeah, and I
it's
think
kind of like I think I
and I
think the
think you
game's been out long enough that they should give all of that stuff to anybody that has the game. You shouldn't have to have ESO Plus to get that.
yeah. I feel they should just make it a full package and make it a very affordable. There's no reason why every DLC has to be $40, $50.
Yeah, I
Put it
agree.
all put it all in one package and I don't know, charge them 40, 50 and call it a day. I really don't think they should continue to do, and I think they're gonna change that because I do believe they're making a package. They just didn't make the price, but I believe that's gonna be their intention. I mean, I would hope. Um,
I
let's
would
see
like
what
to
else
see
we
that.
have.
I mean, I understand they have to make money, but it seems like the game has been out long enough that they could a lot of the stuff that they require people to have ESO Plus for, they could just give it to people. Like, you know.
Yeah. Then they mention about upgrades, DLC, custom crown crates, the wolf mount. We talk about if you don't just get this wolf mount. If you pre-purchase, you can get a wolf pup.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
yeah,
I did see
bit
that one
nonsense.
of the pets is going to be a crow. I'm not really much for the pets because you take them off anyway. So
I like the mounts. I will say I do
yeah,
like
but
mounts. There's
even
something
that is
about
kind
that.
of to a point. I mean, it's not. It's just aesthetic. It's not. It doesn't help your gameplay. So you know.
Yeah. Now on January 29, on the PC they do the public test server for the new dungeons. So during that time they test out the dungeons and they see if there's any bugs, any fixes. If the dungeon's too hard or if it's too soft, they try to fix it just to make it the right balance. And that will be on the PC January 29. Um, Temporary play chat that we talked about. Oh, the Mola Bog Impet. Something that interests you? The
No,
Mola
not at
Kina
all.
Impet.
I think
Don't
it's kind of
care.
stupid, actually.
Yeah,
And
and like I said, a
I've
lot of
seen other
people.
people think it's stupid too, because Molag Bal is like this big. He's basically the end game of casual players, and you're gonna make him into like a little pocket-sized pet. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, like for me, and this is just my preference. I mean, cause we all like, even though we're end gamers, we all like some stuff that are casual. So for me, like maybe and I'm exaggerating, maybe a Molokin skin will probably, and it sounds silly, but probably would interest me a little bit more, or a
Yeah,
mount or
yeah,
something, because it's more useful to use. But like a non-combat pet is useless. I mean, it's just like you said, cosmetic. You can't even use it in trials. You got to take it off because it glitches the damn trial. So it's like blah. Um,
yeah,
what up?
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, pets. It shouldn't be. Pets are not a selling point of anything for me. It's not gonna make me want to buy anything. If
yeah.
that's what your selling point is, you've already lost me. I mean,
Oh yeah. Then they continued to mention about a 10-year anniversary plan, and they were like, we're excited, we got so many secrets to tell you, but we're not telling you. And they're like, we're gonna tell you later on. And then later on when it comes out, they were like, well, that's all for today, tune in next time. And that they're gonna celebrate the event in Amsterdam, April 5, April 6, um next week is the update, rah rah rah. That's how it ended. So I was like, I just felt when they ended, I had much more questions than
yeah,
answers or
it wasn't.
responses,
Yeah, it
or
wasn't.
even to be excited about. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Overall, I was disappointed overall.
Yeah, yep. And I'm sure. I mean, I know people probably have questions and people are going to be talking about it. And I know even other content creators or YouTubers will probably give their opinion or even come with curiosity to what's happening next, just like we all are right now. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But for right now, if I have to say, I think you can agree, Shadow. I wasn't very. I probably was more excited before the show, before the review, just turning on YouTube and about to watch the review. I was
Yeah,
probably more
yeah,
excited.
me too. I was like,
Um,
okay, here we go. Maybe it's gonna be something new.
yeah, but towards the
Nope.
end, I was like, okay, you know. And
Uh,
even then, I wasn't
After they
ecstatic
said about
excited.
scribing, I was like, because it's like they had an opportunity to do something good and they just dropped the ball. Like they just put something very generic, like the card game. It's just very generic. And maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be better than what I'm thinking it'll be, but it's definitely not what I thought it was going to be. What it could have been.
Well, I know one thing, and obviously in the reveal they mentioned the card game, but we all know that the card game was probably one of the worst things they put into the game.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, it did not hold well with the fans. I mean, there are people who are diehards and would love anything. You could throw a candy apple in the game, and they'll love it because it's their favorite game, just like it's our favorite game. But like many have said, they did not come to play Elder Scrolls to play a card game. Even if it would have been the best card game ever, it's just people don't come to Elder Scrolls to play card games, and it's it's harsh to say because I'm a harsh critic, but yeah, I think that most of us felt that way.
Yeah.
The card game and vice
It
versa.
was just very lackluster. Okay, so again, the card game could have been good if it would have, the rewards were something that, not furnishings. If the rewards were gold mats or even motifs or some
Transmutes.
transmutes. Yeah, fucking transmutes. Then it would have been worth playing because you would be getting something that would help you in endgame. But it's just blah. It's just fluff.
Who's
Not
the master
anything.
of the card game?
The master of the card game.
Yeah, yeah. To me, I will have to say the last year's reveal was much better. I mean, you still they always leave you with question marks, but it's just that the road they went with the Arcanist and the Archive. I'm not gonna say it's the best, the excellent, but it was so much.
Step in the right
It was
direction.
so much refreshing, so much refreshing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know how what route they're gonna go, but I can probably say that. Um, and this sounds silly because the Arcanist just came out, but I can see even making another class,
Yeah. Make
something
another
that can
class.
excite the game. And I know it's too soon because the Arcanist, how long has it been? A few months, a year. Um,
Yeah. They were spaced out pretty far. I don't know how far it was between the Warden and the Necro, but um, it's been pretty far since they put those in till they put the Arcanist in. So I can't imagine them making another class anytime soon. But they could, you know, put in a new weapon skill line or something like that.
oh yeah, indeed. Well, we'll see what happens during the weeks, and then we'll keep in contact with everybody and see what reviews come out. And hopefully, something positive comes out of this because, in all honesty, like I said, we all love the game and we just want better for the game, and that's why we are
Yeah,
the
definitely.
harsh critiques. Yeah. All
Hopefully
right.
I'm
So
wrong about everything, but yeah, like you said,
no
we'll see.
problem. All right, everyone. Till next time.